Alrighty, what is up, Seahawks fans of all nation? Um, Game just went to all zeros. Panthers defeat the Seahawks at home, 30-24. Um, in arguably their most completely and utterly pathetic fucking showing this entire year. Like 2 weeks ago, I was annoyed. I was kind of down from that loss, and you kind of got down me. But hey, 2 weeks later in this loss, I'm not depressed. I'm mad. I'm just straight up mad. I'm so fucking done with this team right now. Honestly, at the start of the year, 7-6 would have been great for me, but now I have expectations, and I expect this team to be playing better. And unfortunately, what this team decided to do against a bad Panthers team in your home stadium is proceed to sell like a bunch of little shits. I don't know exactly what I expected from this team, because they always have to make things more difficult than they should be, and that is exactly what happened today. I wish I could point to one side of the ball and be like, yeah, this is where the problems were, and this is where we need to address it going forward. No. That would be too easy. There is no part of this team today that deserves a pass on anything. Special teams maybe a little bit, because Igwebuike did have a good return, and everyone else was pretty good. But yeah, this team was completely and utterly fucking pathetic this entire game. Half the defensive line right now should be going and filling out Chuck E. Cheese applications, because this was the most pathetic showing of the defense the entire year. And this team gave up almost 300 scrimmage yards, more than 300 scrimmage yards, to Josh Jacobs. So, let's kind of go down the line and give like a brief recap of this shit show of a game. Go through the play-by-play. To start things off, Panthers drive down. They get a field goal, but that's fine. Holding them to a field goal with how terrible our defense has been. I can't be too mad at that. And then on the first play of the Seahawks possession, Geno throws one of the worst picks he's thrown this entire year, if not the worst pick he's thrown this entire season, straight into J.C. Horn's hands. They capitalize. They go and they score a touchdown on a 13-yard carry. So we're only halfway into the first quarter, and they are already up 10-0 on us. Offense can't really do anything past that. They punt it away. Then they're up 17-0. 17 to friggin' nothing in our home friggin' stadium. It's the second quarter. We finally go down. We get a nice passing touchdown to Lockett in the back of the end zone, back where only you can get it. Shout out to Tyler Lockett. He's not going to get crap today, because he actually had a pretty good game. Defense holds strong. They get a good sack. And then Geno throws another interception. I think that's his first 2-interception game of the season this year, which is very uncharacteristic of him. Geno had a very bad game today. Panthers go down the field. They, on a short field from that interception, they go up 20-7. But on the bright side, Seattle's able to go down and score a touchdown before the end of the half, and Seattle will get the ball back, so it doesn't matter. We go down, we get a field goal, not ideal, but hey, we're within 3 points now. Then it's punt, downs, punt. Offense can't do anything. Defense makes a couple of good stops, and then the defense for the remainder of the game proceeds to sell. Touchdown, field goal, end of game. Seattle gets a garbage time touchdown at the end to Marquise Goodwin. Good for Marquise Goodwin. He was our leading receiver on the day today, but if you're the shiniest turd in the bunch, you're still a turd for this game. If you're looking for any silver lining from this game, it's not going to come from this game. It's the fact that the Broncos lost, which was good, but unfortunately Russ did get hurt in that game. He got a concussion and it looked really bad, so really pulling for him, hoping he's all right. But yeah, the only good thing that happened today really was the Broncos lost, which helps our draft pick, because we have the Broncos draft pick. But yeah, there's nothing good about this game. Going down the box score, Geno Smith, 21 for 36, 264 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. this was definitely Gino's worst game of the year, and even though it's his worst game of the year, he still threw 3 touchdowns. Granted, one of those touchdowns was garbage time. The entire Panthers defense just gave up because they're like, it doesn't matter, they're not going to win anyway, so who cares. The run game was completely and utterly castrated the entire game, but we kind of expected that because we're down to our 4th string running back pretty much in Travis Homer. Even then, the line couldn't block for him at all. 9 carries for 26 yards. Gino had 20 yards on 3 scrambles. Tony Jones had 1 carry on the day, but we were behind for so much of this game, they basically had to abandon the run game, primarily because we couldn't run the ball on anybody because our running blocking was terrible and because we were down by so much. As far as the receiving game goes, they did as much as they could. DK Metcalf, 5 for 71 and a touchdown. Goodwin had 5 for 95 and a touchdown. He was your leading receiver on the day. Granted, that touchdown catch did come in garbage time, and the Panthers weren't even really trying to do anything at that point, so it doesn't really matter in the end of the day. Disley, 2 catches for 20 yards. Parkinson, 1 catch for 10. Homer had 2 catches for 8 yards, and nothing else on top of that. Some good news, Darrell Taylor flashed. He had a good QB pressure, and he got a sack on the day as well. Bruce Irvin was responsible for the other sack, but aside from that, we were pretty invisible the entire day. The problem on the day was that Carolina's running backs ran all over us at the end. By the time it got to the end, they knew that they were going to run it up the middle on every friggin' play, and this team couldn't do anything about it. They couldn't stop a wet piece of paper. It was that bad. So yeah, defense line couldn't defend the run game. I get it. Shelby Harris got the flu. He was out for this game, and you also lost Al Woods to, I think it was a heel injury in this game. So you were down 2 your best defensive linemen, but at the same time, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because whether or not they were in this game, they would have been tearing apart anyways. Linebackers were good for most of the game. Barton and Brooks were in on a lot of plays. I don't put the defensive mishaps on them. I think they did the best with what they could. Tariq Woolen made a couple of nice plays, but he also had a couple of really stupid mistakes at the end. A stupid face mask penalty, blatant face mask penalty. He definitely screwed up and then cost them a defensive stop, which was, sorry, just because you're a rookie, you don't get a pass on stupid brain dead mistakes like that. What else? Kobe Bryant had a couple of nice plays, but honestly, our secondary was kind of getting beat up today. Actually, no, it really wasn't. They actually held Sam Darnold to only 120 yards through the air. They were shutting them down through the air. Maybe they were just shutting them down through the air because they knew that we couldn't stop them, or we couldn't stop them on the ground, which is probably more likely at this point. Defensive side of the ball, defensive stat sheet, nobody else really stood out. As far as the winners for this game, nobody's a winner. There are people who were fine, but nobody is a quote-unquote winner for this game. Just a bunch of mid and a lot of losers. So, at this point, with how Seattle's played today, I think it's very realistic they don't win another game this season. Now you have a short week. Yeah, the 49ers are coming in to play you, and if you saw what the 49ers just did to the Buccaneers, they're going to be calling Seattle PD to the stadium because there's going to be a freaking homicide on the field at this point. Then we go on the road to play the Chiefs. Yeah, I think we know how that game is going to go, especially in Kansas City in the wintertime. It's going to be cold, it's going to be miserable, and yeah, Patty Mahomes you have to deal with, so that's going to suck. Then you come home to play the Jets. Their defense is really good, but their offense is really bad. But hey, with how our defense is playing, they're gonna make freaking Mike White and Joe Flacco look like Hall of Famers again. They're gonna make their third stringers look like Hall of Famers because that's what this defense always seems to do. They always seem to make terrible players look like Hall of Famers and make Hall of Famers look like practice squad players at best. I don't get it. This team can't beat the teams that it needs to beat to win. This team needs to beat. The sign of a good team is good teams beat the teams that they should beat. They don't fall to trap games. And this team falls to trap games all the time. You lost to the Raiders, you lost to the Panthers, you lost to the Saints. You lost to the Falcons. You have not beaten a single NFC South team. And they are probably, if the AFC South didn't exist, they would be the worst, the worst division in all of football. You can't beat the worst division in your conference. You can't beat anybody from the worst division in your conference. That's pathetic. Utterly pathetic. The sign of a good team, and I don't know what I was expecting. I don't think any of us thought going in that this was a good team. But with how good the offense was doing, we have expectations. We were in the playoff hunt for a good chunk of time. There was even a good chance earlier in the season that we would win the division. But no. This team has come back down to earth. It has come crashing back down to earth. This is the team that I was more expecting to see. I just don't understand how this defense went from worst in the league to being, for that 4-week stretch, from week 6 to week 9, they were by far and away the best defense, like I think by DVOA in the entire NFL. And now we have crashed back down to being the worst defense in pretty much every statistical category. So where do we go from here? We're 7-6. We desperately needed this win to keep pace with the 49ers, so kiss any chance of winning the division goodbye. Even with a win, against them on Thursday night, we would need to win out, and they would need to lose 2 of their last 3 games, and their schedule is a cakewalk from here. So kiss any chances of winning the division goodbye. No chance. There is still a chance that we could make it into as a wild card team. But unfortunately, we don't control our destiny anymore. We're going to need some help. Somewhere. So we're going to need some help. Playoffs, even if we do make the playoffs, I think we're going to be a one and done team, which is fine because making the playoffs was well beyond my expectations for the season. But I think definitely going into the draft, I think the primary focus of our top draft capital needs to be addressing this defensive line and addressing the front 7. But of course, that is going to be a discussion for the offseason, and we're not quite there yet. So can't wait to have those discussions when they actually come up. But yeah. So anyways, that's it. So Seattle goes home with the tail in between their legs. And then they get the red-hot 49ers off of Hall of Fame quarterback Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant himself. He's going to come in and absolutely lambast us the entire day. So yeah, to end the season, we play the 49ers on Thursday night. Then we go on the road to play the Chiefs in Kansas City. Then we come home to play the Jets. And then we play the Rams at home, who seem to have found their messiah in Baker Mayfield at the last second. So it is what it is. I'm so numb at this point that I don't know what to think about this team. All I know is that there are going to need to be some major personnel changes coming here at the end of the season. But enough of my ranting. I'll look forward to next week. But thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, be sure to drop a like and follow down below if you like the content. Subscribe and hit the bell icon if you want to be notified whenever I post. And with that, I will sign off. Y'all have a great rest of your Week 12s. And as always, go Hawks.